Hello, welcome to my channel. Today I'm gonna show you how to make a baby blanket. I made this for my son. He's gonna be born in October, and I'm gonna show you the things that you need. I already have the pattern right here, and I'm using this Bond Light. It's a paper that you put on your fabric with the iron, and it glues other fabric to it, which is really helpful when you're sewing. I'm gonna be using that combination of fabrics right there, a lighter. Also the same combination for the thread. I'm using polyester thread. I'm using an inch and a half of ribbon, which is not really necessary. I just wanted to add it as a touch. And this kind of fabric, they are really soft and warm. That's why I picked them. So I'm gonna start with my pattern. I'm gonna iron them on the back of my fabric, and I already have a tutorial on how to use the bond paper. It is on a bib, I believe. I go more into detail. So I'm just gonna cut the patterns, and you can find them on my blog. If you want to use the same image, I'm gonna put them on my blog for free so you can get it. So I'm just gonna cut around all the pieces, and once I have them, I'm gonna glue them into these other white piece of fabric, just because if they tend to be a little translucent, so I don't want them to show the fabric on the blanket. That's why I'm doing this. And then I'm gonna add another piece of the bond paper on the back of this, that way I can glue it to the actual blanket. So once I have that, I'm gonna let it cool down for a minute or two, and I'm gonna cut all the shape together. And now I'm just gonna trace where I'm gonna sew the features of the lion and everything. I already have it here. I'm just winging it, like how I think it will look good. I didn't end up going with the mouth, but it's up to you if you want to do it. Now I'm gonna remove the paper from the back of the lion, and I'm gonna iron this into the corner of the fabric. And with the help of the iron, I'm gonna glue everything together. I use about a yard of fabric. It is a pretty big blanket, but it's gonna grow out with my baby. So now I'm gonna use a zigzag stitch, and I'm gonna go all around very slowly to create this embroidery look on the lettering and the image. So I'm just gonna do this all around. It is time consuming. It's gonna take a little while, but it will turn out pretty cute. You don't have to write the name of your baby. You can just do the image. I just wanted to personalize the blanket for him. So I'm gonna do this also with the lion, the same zigzag stitch, and I'm gonna go all around and mark the features of the legs and everything, so you can distinguish where are the legs and all of that. And it's gonna cover the pencil. And I'm also gonna do the tail because it was apart from the body, so I'm just gonna do a straight line from the tail to the body, and that's what it looks like. Now that I have everything there except the crest of the lion, I'm gonna fold my ribbon and heat seal it this way. Once it's cold, I'm going to place it under the crest, and with the help of some pins, I'm going to secure it. That way when I'm sewing, they are not gonna be moving around. So I'm gonna do this really quick, and I'm gonna go ahead and start sewing with the orange thread all around, and that way the crest of the lion will be pretty much done. So let me just finish this real quick. And you don't have to add the ribbon. It's just a little texture thing that I wanted to add more dimension to the fabric, so the baby can play with it and all that. So just make sure you sew it all good so the baby doesn't rip it off. So this is what it looks like. I'm gonna hand sew the eyes and the nose just to have more control over the detail that I'm putting into this, because if I use the machine, sometimes it doesn't look completely right, so I don't want to mess it up. I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna do a hand stitch, a small stitch, and it works great. So let me just finish this up and do it with the nose and the eyes. If you want to add the mouth as well. so I picked the gray color for that. Now that I have my embroidery ready, I'm gonna get the other fabric and I'm gonna place them the right size facing each other. That way I can flip it in the future. So I'm just gonna hold the fabrics with pins and start sewing with a straight stitch all around the fabric, and I'm just gonna leave a little opening about 5 inches so I can turn the fabric when it's done, the blanket when it's done. So I'm just gonna go around and I'm gonna leave an opening of 5 inches, and then I'm gonna do a zigzag stitch so the blanket won't not fray, just to give a little extra, or you can just serge the whole thing. And with the help of this tape, I'm just gonna curve the edges, the corners. It's not necessary, I just like the round corners better than the pointy ones. So I'm gonna go ahead and sew this with a straight stitch, and then do it again with a zigzag stitch, and I'm gonna cut the extra fabric that I have left. This is what it looks like. You can use whatever other thing you have. You can make it bigger, you can make it smaller, it's up to you. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this, and now I find my opening here. I'm gonna start flipping my fabric, just pulling everything out so the fabric is on the right side now. So it is very easy to do. That's why I left that big opening, so I didn't have any trouble, because since it's a big blanket, I didn't want to have to struggle with it. I'm gonna take pins and I'm gonna close this opening, and that's the first thing I'm gonna start sewing, because I don't want to lose it and I don't want it to stay open. I don't want the baby hands going in there, you know. So just go with a straight stitch and go all around it until you are done. This is a pretty simple blanket. I mean, it will take probably an hour or less to make, depending on how fast you are or the design you are using. You can totally hand stitch the whole thing. You can just do it by hand. It will take longer, but it can be a whole pregnancy project that you can do to make the blanket for your baby. So the blanket is pretty much done. I'm just gonna finish closing it, and this is what it looks like. It is really warm, it is big, and it has the baby's name, and I like that picture too. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Don't forget to check out my channel. I have more sewing tutorials, recipes, other crafts. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give me a like and subscribe if you're new. Thank you for watching. I will talk to you next time. Don't forget to check out this other video right here.